If you were with all these yokels on this junket here, they come in with their private jet, what would be your first question to the assembled?
My first question would be, we've seen the tremendous amount of consolidation on the distribution side of the media equation with AT&T and DirecTV, Comcast trying to get Time Warner Cable, now Charter's getting it. So how about on the other side of the equation with the media players, the content players, the Viacoms, the Disneys, the Time Warner?
When are we going to see that? We saw that with Time Warner, Bucas, and Rupert, and then that all fell apart, right?
Right. That was a terrible transaction. I have no idea how that came about. I'm going to blame the investment bankers on that one. But the reality is a lot of these content players really need to think about getting bigger, getting stronger relative to their distribution partners.
Right.
And then also, how do they play in this digital world? That's probably the #1 issue.
I would agree with that. But the killer thing to me, and this goes back to goodwill and badwill, is every headline says this deal is accretive immediately. In your world, can they say that? If they're playing with hugely valued stock and they need a ton of cash to come up with, will these be those media-friendly accretive deals?
Well, you know, if you look back to the 90s and early 2000s, that was not the case. And these media companies destroyed value. And one of the reasons why the media stocks have been so strong coming out of the financial crisis is there haven't been many deals. They've been buying back stock, paying dividends, and that's been great. However, I think, you know, given the distribution consolidation we've seen, I think the pressure is on these companies, and investors are concerned. They're concerned about bad deals, they're concerned about dilution.
Help me with Chris Grisanti right now, Grisanti Capital Management. He wants value. He can't own anything in your universe, right?
Well, it depends on how you define value, but, you know, in the media space, it's had a great run really over the last 7 or 8 years, so the valuations are not at the all-time highs, but they are certainly near. The only stuff that's really cheap out there are some of the businesses that are really at risk in this digital world, such as the print media, that the newspaper stocks continue to dramatically underperform, and that's where the value is.
What do you think about kind of the left-behinds, like the Viacoms of the world? Would you go there, or would you pay up for a Disney or a Time Warner?
It's interesting. I think the Viacom story, you know, investors are very concerned about Viacom because they are kind of their cable networks are not performing well, which really is saying something, because the cable network business is a great business, but they have serious rating problems. They have serious concerns about their children's demos, and it's been an issue.
And Brendan, this was in Bloomberg Business Week the other week, is what does Sumner Redstone do with his legacy?
It was, and it's so hard to get used to, you know, not being able to pull the lever and have the cash come out. They could do that for the entire 90s and until about 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the issues, you know, for the cable network business is such a good business for the media moguls out there, because advertising has been good for the cable networks, and affiliate fees go up 10% every year. Viacom actually is having some issues because some of their properties aren't as strong as they used to be.
I want to cut to the chase. Olivia Stearns went out to Sun Valley for the Idaho trout. We know that.
Of course.
Does anything get done at these confabs?
Absolutely. Deals get done here, and maybe they don't get announced during the week, but deals get done at this thing.
What's the one begging to get done this week, Paul?
You know, I don't know. I think we're going to see some of these cable network companies, maybe some of the smaller cable network companies like Scripps, like Discovery, like AMC, you know, maybe see some of those start talking to each other and think about, hey, how do we stack up in this new consolidated media world? Do we need to get bigger? When we get back to New York, let's get our teams together.